Guys, actually a year ago, we made a video on Tigerspite. We said it was the king of 450s. And today, that statement couldn't be more true. The difference is not only is Tigerspite the king of 450s, simultaneously, it's quite literally one of the best weapons in the game. Now, it's partly due to the fact that Tigerspite is honestly one of the most consistent weapons ever. I mean, literally look at some of these shots. I'm going to slow down some of these clips. The fact that this weapon is landing crits when the reticle looks like it's not even on target is nuts. And it's probably due to the fact that this weapon does have like a custom reticle that's very unique to Tigerspite. Personally, I actually think it's one of the easiest weapons to aim with. But another reason why Tigerspite, amongst other 450s, feels so good in the sandbox is because precision auto rifles actually got a buff. With update 6.2.5, Bungie actually rolled out an auto rifle buff, both increasing the effect of the stability stat on recoil direction by around 20% at the high end, and for precisions, increased the critical damage multiplier from 1.5 to 1.55, which raises the crit damage from 30 to 31. Now, I know you see 32 on your screen, but no, it's actually 31. Now, some people may look at 31 and say, okay, so what? 31 damage doesn't sound all that impressive. What this really equated to was ease of use. And by the way, this is on an archetype that already has a decent TTK value of 0.8 seconds. Originally, though, it would require 6 crits, 1 body. Now, it actually only requires 5 crits, 2 body. On top of that, if you land all crits on Guardians, 1 resilience or less, you can secure the kill in 6 crits in 0.67 seconds. Granted, most people are rocking mid to high resilience, especially in this sandbox, but believe me guys, Tigerspite really doesn't need all that much help. You literally see the damage that it's outputting, the consistency that it's doing so, and it's honestly because of this roll right here. Big shout out here to Septo for allowing me to use his roll. This one pretty much had everything that I wanted, which was this trait combination being rangefinder and surplus, as well as a range masterwork. This actually allows this auto rifle to reach up to 33, almost 33.5 meters with either ricochet round or high caliber rounds. And if we have an attack on Hammerforged Rifling or some other range boosting perk and that barrel column, that could put us within swinging distance of 35 meters. And that's either small bore, Hammerforged Rifling, etc. However, I will say I do not recommend full bore, considering stability really does matter as they increase the effects of the stability stat on recoil reduction by around 20% at the high end. Now, I know that Tigerspite with this specific roll, which by the way was corkscrew, high caliber round, surplus, and rangefinder, I know you may be sitting there wondering, Cross, the stability stat is 46. Is this actually even considered high? Well, understand guys, with surplus, this does actually grant us 25 extra stability when holding 3 abilities. So even though we're looking at a 46 stability stats, in actuality, if we're holding all of our abilities, that's actually 71. And personally, when playing with Tigerspite here, I've found that the recoil reduction overall was perceivable. Now granted, I always found Tigerspite to be one of the easiest auto rifles to use in the game. But again, I called this the king of 450s last year. Not only is it the king of 450s now, it's quite literally one of the best weapons ever. It's almost insane no one is actually using this auto rifle. Now, I do want to bring up rangefinder because again, rangefinder actually tacks on 3 more meters, actually almost 3.5 meters for Tigerspite, which is really, really good. Now, I know some people are actually discarding rangefinder, thinking it's not a good perk considering the nerf that it received. And if you remember the wording there from hotfix 6.2.5.2, they fixed an issue where the extra 20% bonus to aim assist fall off was not removed from rangefinder. But despite that, I still find Tigerspite, even outside of damage fall off, even outside of when rangefinder should obviously be having drop off and weapon stickiness and overall hit registration, Tigerspite was still landing. Now, if you think this is something that all 450s possess, that's not the case. We've played with other 450s. You're just not going to get that level of consistency out of those auto rifles. And again, we're going to do an overview of auto rifles here soon. Other 450s especially, things like Shadow Price, Amit, Firefight. And again, we talked very, very highly of Amit. I love Amit, but Tigerspite possesses some hidden ability, that being essentially just overall consistency that those other 450s just don't have. But I will say, out of all the 450s, Amit would probably be a very hard one to compete against, as it too can roll with things like surplus. Granted, its final column doesn't necessarily have the best damage dealing perks, but it does roll things like tap the trigger, even incandescent, if you like to rock incandescent rolls. On top of that, the overall range of the weapon sits slightly higher by default over that of Tigerspite, being a 17 zoom weapon, whereas Tigerspite is at 16 zoom. With that being said though, like I said, Tigerspite just possesses something special that allows it to be such a monster inside of PvP. Now, if you don't want to rock a rangefinder roll inside of PvP, by all means guys, you can rock kill clip on this weapon. I personally like range rangefinder because I like to take an auto rifle and stretch it into that mid to long range. Again, 34 meters for an auto rifle is not bad at all. Kill clip though, even with this exact roll that I'm rocking here, which is an 82 range roll, will knock our damage fall off to 31 meters. So that does hurt. However, what you are granted is a weapon that will hit up to 41.23 per crit, which is quite impressive. We're talking easily 5 crits to secure kill in 0.53 seconds. Now that's cooking. And again, you can almost tell in the way we're using Tigerspite, it can be used as like a pseudo SMG in some ways. So having kill clip on this weapon, literally you can run around using it like you would an SMG and just hip fire with the gun while simultaneously proccing kill clip, granting yourself that 33% extra damage. That's for you to decide on whether or not you want to rock a more lethal roll versus that consistent roll. Rangefinder, had it felt like more of a nerf on Tigerspite, I would probably side with kill clip more. But maybe it just really comes down to your play style and what you're pairing with it. I'm pairing a shotgun with my Tigerspite, so I need Tigerspite to secure my mid ranges. Whereas if I was pairing like a sniper rifle with Tigerspite and using it like a long range SMG, then by all means, roll kill clip. This is a weird auto rifle, and by weird I mean its ability to snag those hip fire shots. You can literally see it in all this gameplay right here. One of the big drawbacks that rangefinder has is when aiming down sights with certain weapons, you almost lose hit registration because of the shift there in your zooms. I didn't feel that way with Tigerspite. Now keep in mind, this is not the furthest reaching 450 in the game. It's good, but Ammon has pretty much got it beat. Funny enough, if anybody has a number, which was the future War Cult energy auto rifle, that actually has like the best default zoom for 450s at 20 zoom. It can actually reach insane ranges up to nearly 37 meters. Granted, the stat combinations aren't that good, and I would hands down take Tigerspite over the number any day. The fact that this weapon has a 3.7 rating on Light GG is pretty laughable. I don't really understand why it's got such a low rating. Where it sat even before the most recent 450 buff was already really, really good, and where it sits now is phenomenal. Guys, I would rank Tigerspite one of the low-key meta weapons for this season. Now, one last suggestion that I would make for this weapon, it has a default recoil direction of 68. So it does have some swing there to the left. Personally, I think counterbalance is necessary in this gun. That will actually kick up the recoil direction to 83, which does almost make it perfectly vertical. Now, someone's gonna ask, Cross, what about it being a precision frame? Does that actually contribute to the recoil direction? At least in my knowledge, guys, and someone correct me if I'm wrong for this, precision frame essentially gives you a minus 20% drop in recoil, which is interesting considering that they increase the effect of the stability stat on recoil reduction by 20% in the most recent sandbox change. So we're talking a 20% reduction on top of a 20% reduction being a precision frame. You understand why I say this weapon feels so good and so consistent? So guys, overall, Tigerspite is a phenomenal weapon. I know I've been talking very, very highly about this gun this entire time. If you got that right roll, whether it's that kill clip surplus roll or that rangefinder surplus roll, it will serve you well. And for my PvE players out there, this is also a fantastic gun. You've got Frenzy, you've got Overflow, Subsistence, Swashbuckler, Demolitionist. This is not just an auto rifle for PvP. You definitely can break this out inside of PvE. So again, guys, if you're interested in getting this weapon, you can farm the Dreaming City for this. We'll actually link a guide on how to effectively farm this auto rifle. Link to that will be in the description down below. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.